Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And we are back, and we are still enjoying the taste of Taiwan. We should really say enjoying the taste of Taiwanese night markets and all the tasty things inside them. We have been visiting a night market with Bree and Colby. Bree is from Taiwan. Colby is visiting, and he is impressed with the night markets so far. They mentioned a few of the things you can get at night markets. Bree said they're so popular because you can get bubble milk tea, you can get grilled corn.
Yes,
and what was
black
the other?
Pepper buns.
Pepper buns. Ooh, I like those.
I don't know if I know exactly what they're talking about.
They kind of cook them on the inside of this thing.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. I like those.
They're really good, but they're super hot. So you got to wait like 10 minutes before you bite in. I learned my lesson. So today they're going to be trying some other tasty night market treats. So let's figure out which are our favorites. Top 3 tasty night market treats. Every time you go, you have to have at least one of them.
Ooh, okay. So I really like the shrimp. Actually, I only know it, the shaoranjian. I actually don't know what that translates to in English because I always order that. I love that. I think it's super, super yummy. I always get some kind of fun drink because I love all the milk tea and the bubble tea, and I also love watermelon juice. That's another thing I get that pretty much every time I go. And then usually if I'm at the night market, it's because I want dessert. And I love the ice cream in Taiwan. I love the kind of like the snow ice cream.
Yes.
And then they'll put the fruit and the milk on it.
Shaved ice. That is really, really good. And like the watermelon juice, really good in the hot summer weather. You know, the heat, it kind of cuts through that. I always like to get a nice sausage. You know, you can get the wasabi, you get the garlic, you get the different flavors. Those can be really good. Black pepper buns are pretty good. And actually something I haven't had in years, just a big old G-pie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of those ones that's bigger than your head. I haven't had one in years. And I always see them on TV when people like Colby are visiting. And I'm like, I got to go to a night and that special spicy powder. Ooh, that's so good. All right, guys, we're going to visit the night market. And maybe they'll eat some of our favorites, some of your favorites, or maybe they'll eat some of the things you don't like. Let's find out. Bree and Colby find a couple of empty seats.
I can't wait to dig into this oyster omelet. It smells so good.
Speaking of smells, something is turning my stomach.
Okay, so this is day 2, part B of Enjoy the Taste of Taiwan. Again, we are not looking at all of the food in Taiwan, but we are looking at all of the Taiwanese food that is at a night market. Because that is where our 2 people are. They are exploring a night market.
They are indeed. So that's why it says Bree and Colby find a couple of empty seats. Okay. So from that, we can probably guess that they've bought some food. They might be carrying it in trays or in bags or whatever. And now they want to sit down and enjoy the food. And of course, if you can, it's always nice in a night market to find a seat, a chair, somewhere to sit. Of course, it's okay in the night market to stand or walk while you're eating. But of course, a seat, a chair is more comfortable. But you do want to find an empty seat. You don't want to sit on someone else.
No.
That would be an interesting way of making a friend, but it could start a big fight. So try to find an empty seat or chair. Empty meaning nothing is inside of it. In case of a chair or a seat, it means no one is using it. But in case of other things like a glass or a bottle, it means nothing is inside. If you have an empty glass, it's not going to help you. If you're thirsty, you will have to fill it with something. If it is full, there's a lot of stuff in it. If it's empty, there's no stuff in it. Or in this case, there's no person in the seat. So Bree is very excited. They sit down, they have their food. What is on the menu for tonight?
Well, she says, I can't wait to dig into this oyster omelet. So it's almost the food that I really like, but I prefer the the shrimp one, not the oyster one.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan.
Well, she says, though, it smells so good.
Okay.
So here we are looking at this food. They are excited to eat. They're excited to start eating this food and dig into, meaning to start eating. I'm gonna eat so fast and I'm so excited to eat because it smells so good. So here we have smell and we're using it as a verb. We are smelling something, using our nose to breathe in some fumes and some aromas, some smells,
whatever.
all that kind of stuff to see whether the smell is good or not, because this word can be used in a couple different ways, which we'll see in a second.
Exactly right. That's what Colby does. He smelled something from of course, the oyster omelet. It's not the smell of the omelet I don't like. It's like how it looks. And how it kind of feels in your mouth. The smell's okay. And of course, in a night market, there's another thing you might smell which is much stronger than an oyster omelet. And that's probably what Colby is talking about. He says, speaking of smells, something is turning my stomach. Ugh, that's not a good thing. Speaking of, that's sort of an expression you can use when you're talking about something. And then you want to talk about another thing that's kind of close. There's kind of a relationship there. So if I was talking to Sam about her friend and she said, oh, my friend is going to college, I could say, oh, speaking of college, my niece just started going to, it's on the same topic. It's in the same area. So we're talking about smells. Speaking of smells, now here notice smell is a noun. There's a smell. Can you smell that smell? Verb and then noun. So the smell of something is that thing in the air that you are now smelling. It could be a good smell like perfume or fresh cookies, or it could be a bad smell like garbage or a skunk or a stinky animal or something. And this is not a good smell because he says something is turning my stomach. If it turns your stomach, something you see or smell or eat, it means it makes you feel sick, like you might throw up because your stomach is turning. It's not a good thing. It's not a good smell. What is that smell? Let's find out after the break. You think you know?
I know. Yes, I have a guess.
Okay.
There's a smell at night markets that usually bothers me as well.
Barbecued skunk? No.
My guess is the stinky tofu from the stand next to us.
The smell is coming from that direction. Are you sure that it isn't another stand?
Yes, I know what you're smelling, and it's not the salt and pepper chicken.
How does stinky tofu taste?
It's pretty good, and it has many vitamins and minerals. Also, it can help keep you from getting sick.
Maybe I should try some.
You smell that? We're at the night market. Can you guys imagine what that smell would? I mean, Nyoro mien, beef noodle soup, it has kind of a smell, but not a big smell. And what I was talking about, G-pie, there's just kind of the smell of the oil, right? So if I'm smelling a strong smell at the night market, maybe someone around me is wearing too much perfume, or maybe it's that smelly food that everyone knows that we find in most good night markets. I like this stuff. If it's what we're talking about, what are we talking about? What is that smell that Colby can smell?
Yes, and so Bree says, so far we haven't seen it yet, but she says, my guess is the stinky tofu from the stand next to us.
The mighty Cho.
Yes, and so this is something that I'm sure everybody in Taiwan, of course everyone in Taiwan knows, and many, many, many people in Taiwan really, really like.
Including you.
No, not including me. For me, unfortunately, if I smell stinky tofu in a night market, I cannot stand or eat or do anything in that area. I have to move away because it really bothers me.
You really don't like it?
Yes,
okay.
I really don't like it. And I will say I have tried it one time, so I did give it the benefit of the doubt. hate it.
That's fine. If you try it, you can say I hate it.
Yes,
I think that's totally cool.
I don't like it, and I really don't like the smell. So I will not stand anywhere.
More for me then.
You take it.
I will.
Yes. And so,
Okay.
so in our sentence, we have Bree saying, I would guess, or my guess. So she is taking a guess. And when you guess something, you don't know the actual answer, but you're thinking about using the kind of clues around you to make a suggestion on what that thing might be. So if they asked you a question, but you don't know the answer, you can say, well, I guess it would be this. Kind of like if someone asked me how many night markets are in Taiwan, I would say I would guess more than 100 because I would have no idea. Here we know it's more than 300. And just like that, Bree says, well, if you can smell something and it's bothering you and kind of icky, then I'm going to guess it's probably stinky tofu, which again, it's in the name, stinky tofu.
Well, that's true. That's true. They don't surprise the stink on you. You know about it. And of course, guess can be used, as Sam just explained there, as both a verb and a noun. You guess. This is what I think. This is the answer I'm going to give to you. And that answer is my guess. All right. So you guess a guess. So her guess was stinky tofu, and it's probably coming from the stand next to us. This is an interesting one because, of course, stand can be a verb, right? If I'm not sitting and I'm just up there, not moving with my legs together, I am standing, okay? But in this case, we're talking about stand as a noun, and it has a few different meanings as a noun, but in a night market, what we're talking about is basically that small working station that the person has that they're selling their food from. A stand is kind of like a tiny little store, but it can move. Stands can be put away. They can be pushed around. They won't have a front door or walls or anything like that. They might have a few chairs on the road right in front of you, but basically the person selling stands behind the stand. They make the food in front of them on the stand using it, and then they sell it across the stand to you, the customer. And if you go to a night market, usually it's just a road with many stands on the side. All these different stands, businesses are selling things for people. So the smell, Colby says, is coming from that direction. So he notices it's kind of moving this way. Are you sure that it isn't another stand? So maybe it's not the one you're thinking of. Maybe it's another one, or maybe they just can't see it. But there's a lot of different smells coming at you in a night market. So
yes, and especially with stinky tofu, there's probably more than one stand
that's true.
also.
That's
so
a good point.
Sometimes when I'm walking, I get hit by the stinky tofu and I run away and it's okay for a second, and then another one. So.
Yeah, it's from both sides.
Yes, so it can be quite overwhelming if you've never experienced it before. And so Bree says, yes, I know what you're smelling, and it's not the salt and pepper chicken.
Ooh.
Because that would probably have an okay smell.
Yeah.
But this doesn't.
No, exactly. Well, we know the smell isn't so great, but Colby's wondering about something else with this food. How does stinky tofu taste? That's a really good question, because often with stinky tofu and other stinky foods, people might say, oh, the smell is worse than the taste. The smell is strong and maybe not so bad, not so good, but the taste, it's actually mild. It doesn't taste as bad as it smells. That doesn't really make me feel good about things, but it might make me a little more brave to try it. Oh, well, if the smell is the worst, then if it's in my mouth, it's not so bad. So is that true with stinky tofu?
Well, so she says, so Bree is answering this question, it's pretty good, and it has many vitamins and minerals. Also, it can help keep you from getting sick. And so this kind of is true. I mean, tofu is a pretty good food for you. It's fairly healthy, but I don't know what else they add to it that helps you from getting sick.
Maybe you smell so bad that the germs don't come near you.
And like the ones that you have run away.
The little COVID germs will go, woo, and they'll turn around and fly away the other way. This is news to Colby, and hey, if the food is interesting and tastes good and it's good for you, a lot of people would say, okay, maybe I should try some. So Colby says, maybe I should try some. He's thinking of trying it. He might need a bit more courage fridge, and we will just have to wait until tomorrow to find out if he is brave enough to try the mighty cho tofu. We will be back tomorrow with these guys and more good times in the night market, and Sam will be eating an entire plate of stinky tofu. If you want to see that, you're going to have to come back tomorrow. Come on, I bought the best in Taiwan for you. Bree and Colby find a couple of empty seats.
I can't wait to dig into this oyster omelet. It smells so good.
Speaking of smells, something is turning my stomach.
My guess is the stinky tofu from the stand next to us.
The smell is coming from that direction. Are you sure that it isn't another stand?
Yes, I know what you're smelling, and it's not the salt and pepper chicken.
How does stinky tofu taste?
It's pretty good, and it has many vitamins and minerals. Also, it can help keep you from getting sick.
Maybe I should try some.
Hello, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 empty 形容词空的。The streets were empty at night. 夜晚街道上空无一人。下一个单字 smell 动词闻起来。The flowers smell wonderful. 这些花闻起来太香了。Smell 也可以当名词，指的是味道。The smell of fresh bread filled the room. 新鲜面包的味道充满了整个房间。下一个单字 guess 名词推测猜想。Peter's guess was not correct. Peter 的猜测不正确。最后一个单字 stand 名词摊贩。The fruit stand was crowded with people. 那个水果摊挤满了人。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个Turn one's stomach 使某人反胃，字面上的意思是翻转某人的胃，引申呢指的就是让某人反胃不适。Stomach 指的是胃、腹部。我们来看看这个例句 ：The smell of that fish turned my stomach. 那条鱼的味道让我反胃。下一个文法 A comes from B，A 来自源自 B。我们来看看这个例句。The bright light came from the sky. 那道亮光来自天空。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Here's how to play. The host will be holding 3 cards. Each card will have 2 sentences containing a secret vocabulary word or phrase that has been replaced by the word bear. The host will read the sentences out loud for the contestants to guess. Whoever guesses first gets a point. The person with the most points wins. And you can play along too.
Hey, we're here playing Guess the Bear. I'm Josh.
I'm Matt.
I'm Kiki.
Ooh, so you guys excited?
Yes.
Fired up?
I'm ready.
Yep, ready and rearing to go. The first cab off the ranks is an adjective, 1 word. We stayed at a fancy hotel with bear dining. The antique store is known for its bear china.
Fine.
Ooh. I don't even know. That was just too equal. I'm gonna do the math and split it down the middle and go half a point each. How does that sound? The adjective 1 word. We stayed at a fancy hotel with fine dining. The antique store is known for its fine china. Okay, next one. It's another noun, 1 word. The holiday season is the only time Tim sees some of his bears. Aunt May is my favorite bear.
Relative.
Oh, let's split another point. How about that? 1 each. Okay, now 1 word. The holiday season is the only time Tim sees some of his relatives. Aunt May is my favorite relative. Okay. Final one. Phrase. 2 words. Dad is Bear Ned because he wants him to do well. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be so bare yourself.
Hard on.
That's right. So the phrase, 2 words, Dad is hard on Ned because he wants him to do well. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be so hard on yourself. Mate, sometimes it's very difficult though, but hey, so you got 2 points there, and you got 1 point.
Just
Matt.
one.
Yeah, that's okay. So Kiki, you're the winner today, so don't be too hard on yourself, mate.